Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. I've got some fun gameplay for you today. Today's new batch of 4 decks. We've got Animar, my new Kodai, Soul of Kamigawa, the Third Doctor, and Shieldred. So the way this is set up is because, once again, this is a different type of WinCon game setup. We've got Animar is just big dumb creatures with tramples and ramp trying to get them on the field and swing in for combat damage. Shieldred is, of course, indirect damage, pinging you every time you draw cards and hoping to make you draw more cards and discard. The Third Doctor is all about commander damage, beefing him up with trample as much as you can and get him through, plus a couple clones that'll be good for blocking and hopefully get through combat damage as well. Finally, this is a new deck, and it's going to be probably one of my favorites. I know I say that about a lot of decks, but I like a lot of my decks, obviously. That's why I have them, and that's why I keep them. But this is my Guildgate deck. You should have actually seen this last week on my Creator Clash, where I had Reversal Wizard, Scott Johnny, and Queen of Cardboard on. It was a lot of fun, and I debuted this deck there. I played it with friends in real life a few times, but that was the first time I believe I played it on camera. So we're going to play it in this matchup as well. So it's all about the Guildgate Maze's End WinCon. Now, the thing about this deck is I've tweaked it as much as I can to get it going as quickly as possible, but basically can consistently win between turns 9 and 12. If things go crazy good, I've seen it win once or twice on like turn 7 or 8. But for the most part, it's a turn 10, 11 win, because you need 10 Guild Gates on the field and Maze's End to trigger it. But as I've been tracking a lot of games I've been playing, it seems like most Commander games tend to actually end around turn 7 to 10. So while this is a fun deck, it's not guaranteed, even though it's very consistent, it's not going to win consistently because most games will probably end right before this goes off. But I thought it would be fun to face against some of my other more aggressive decks because Gates has creatures to block with, but not a ton. It's about just getting the Gates out fast. But let's jump into the gameplay. I rolled the dice, and Animar is going first, so we will draw for turn. I will play a Frostboil Snarl. It comes in tapped unless I reveal a mountain or island. I actually don't have any, so it'll come in tapped. We pass turn, draw over here, and I will go ahead and play a Manor Gate. Comes in tapped, and it taps for green, and you can choose a color as it enters that it'll also tap for. So we'll use this blue icon from Infinity Tokens to designate that it now taps for blue or green. Go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a Forest. Nothing else we can do, we'll pass. Draw over here. I will play a Swamp for turn, tapping it for one of my favorite cards. You've seen it before, Vicious Rumors. Vicious Rumors deals 1 damage to each opponent. Each opponent discards a card, and then they mill a card, and I gain a life. So I'm going to gain a life. Everyone else is going to lose 1. They're going to mill the top card of their library, and they're going to have to discard a card. Okay, we will then pass turn over to Animar. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a Forest. No 2-drops, unfortunately. We will pass. Untap over here. Upkeep, draw. Play a Heap Gate. It does not come in tapped. Taps for a colorless, and you can filter mana through it, basically. Pay 1 and tap it to add a mana of any color, or pay 1 and tap it, or tap an untapped gauge you control and create a treasure token. So that's like, you have to waste like 3 mana for the most part just to get 1 treasure token, but it's just there because there's a limited number of gates in existence within Magic, so I have every single one in the deck. I want to say it's like 22 gates, and of course this deck has like 35 lands, so there's a few lands that aren't Guild Gates, but nothing I can do will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. I'll play a Reliquary Tower. No 2-drops over here, we'll pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Terramorphic Expanse, cracking it into a swamp that comes on the battlefield tapped. Souffle the cards, and then we will pass. The fun thing about my Gates deck, the reason I chose this commander is, 1, I wanted 5 colors because I needed that for all the different gates, but also Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa, has Flash, and when it enters the battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible as long as you have Kyodai. So it's kind of designed to come in and protect the card Maze's End, which is key to the WinCon. That's going to be the land that everyone tries to blow up or destroy. I have yet to actually cast Kodai because I tend to use my mana for card draw and everything else, but I like that it's that potential protection right there. So over here, we untap, upkeep, draw, play a Forest, and nothing we can do. Yes, this is interesting. It's like turn 3 and no one's played anything except for Shieldred. Unfortunately, with Animar, that's kind of how he is. He's very defenseless early on because it's designed to try and ramp really fast. Well, it's not ramping very good, but it's designed to ramp early game and then drop the big creatures mid game. Over here, we untap, upkeep, draw. We'll play Maze's End, which comes in tapped. Now everyone's going to definitely know what the WinCon of the deck is, but that's all we can do. We will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a Command Tower. Going to tap all 3 for Tireless Tracker. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under my control, investigate. and when you sacrifice the clue, he gets they get a +1/+1. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, I can't tell. We will then pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw, play a swamp for turn. We will then tap 3 for Bridge of Kahazad-dum, which is Ensnaring Bridge. Creatures with power greater than the number of cards in my hand can't attack. And it doesn't mean me, it just says period. Now, anything with power greater than the number of cards in my hand, which is currently 5, can't attack, which is really going to neuter that deck quite a bit because most of the creatures over there have like toughness of 5, 6, 7, 8, and now they can't attack. So that's going to be really problematic unless they get some artifact removal at a decent clip. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. We will play a Rogue's Passage, 1, 2, 3, and play Grow from the Ashes. Search the library for basic lane card, put on the battlefield, then shuffle Forest on. Didn't have enough to kick it or anything like that, so it just gets the 1 Forest. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play an Island for turn. Then I will tap all 4, because thankfully Maze's End does tap for a colorless. And I will play Circuitous Route. Search the library for up to 2 basic land cards and or gate cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Gond Gate and Simic Guildgate. Gond Gate comes in, it says gates you control enter the battlefield untapped, but they both come in at the same time, so that it's not going to affect Simic Gate this time. But Gond Gate does come in untapped because it doesn't say anything else. It's one of the few gates that doesn't. But now, that's a very key one to always go get the first chance I have, so now my gates come in untapped. Only have 1 mana up, we will go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play a Forest for turn, which is going to make me a Clue token. I will then tap all 4, one of them being blue, to play the 3rd Doctor, a 2/2 with Trample. He gets +1/+1 for each non-creature token you control. When he enters the battlefield, you make your choice of a clue, a food, or a treasure token. I will make a treasure token. So he is now a 4/4 with Trample, thanks to the clue and the treasure. That's all we can do right now, though, so we will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw, play a swamp. Tap all 4 for Shieldred the Apocalypse. One of my absolute favorite decks. Top 3 for sure. It's a 4/5 Death Touch. Whenever I draw a card, I gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. I have a hit or miss reputation on this in my games because I tend to forget and just draw cards and don't take the damage. We're going to try and really focus on it today, but that's all we can do. So we will pass. So we're going to untap, upkeep, draw for turn, take 2 damage. I'm going to play a Forest for turn. Tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Gilded Lotus. Tap and add 3 mana of any one color. I will tap for 3 green and tap this for a 4th color to play Guardian Project. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under my control, if it doesn't have the same name as another card, another creature you control, or a creature card in your graveyard, draw a card. So it's a really good card draw for this deck, or any Commander deck really, because Commander is a singleton format, meaning you can only have one of any named card in the deck, so it's pretty much guaranteed to always do it. But that's all we can do, we'll pass. Untap over here, upkeep, draw, take 2 damage. I will then play Black Dragon Gate, comes in tapped, but thanks to Gond Gate, it untaps. As it enters, I get to choose another color other than black. I'm going to choose white, so it taps for black or white. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gates already. That's really good. It's halfway there. So to help things, so I'm going to tap 1, 2, and 3 to play Gate Colossus. This spell costs 1 less for each gate you control. It's an 8-drop, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gates, and then 6, 7, 8. And it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. And when it enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a gate. Whenever a gate enters the battlefield under your control, you may put Gate Colossus from your graveyard on top of your library if you want. I still have 4 mana open. We will then tap all 4 to play Ancestral Reminiscence. Draw 3 cards, then discard a card. I'll discard an island, and alright, we're set up pretty well, pass turn. Now the problem being that thanks to Shieldred's Ensnaring Bridge, nobody can attack except Tireless Tracker and 3rd Doctor. So if we even try and play 1 more token, then the Doctor becomes, was a creature's power greater than. So we can play 1 more thing over here, that's good. So untap, upkeep, draw, take 2 damage. I'm going to play a Forest, which means I get another clue. The Doctor is now a 5/5, so he can still attack. But if we do anything else, he goes to a 6/6, he can no longer attack. Now, do I have anything to blow that up? Although, so I like Ensnaring Bridge, that's super awesome, and it's a great card for this deck. And as you can see, it already just locked down every single opponent. Unfortunately, the other opponents are me, and we're trying to make an entertainment video here, so that's a little problematic. But the thing is, how would I deal with it? I know these decks have have things to destroy artifacts. They should. The gate deck doesn't have too much interaction because, like I said, it's designed to just draw a ton of cards and try and play those cards as quickly as possible, the lands at least. Whereas these two decks should have a little artifact destruction in them. Things aren't as bad as they seem. What I'm going to do is tap 3 to play City of Death. Create a treasure token. So now we have 2 treasures and 2 clues, so he is now 6/6, he can no longer attack. I have 2 open mana. I'm going to tap these 2. No, okay, because I have to. Okay, we have to wait a little bit, but that's alright. Okay, so we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. I draw, so I gain 2 life. And, well, that's unfortunate. It really looks like good old Shieldred is going to win. But I say that a lot in my games, and it ends up not being the case. But we're going to tap 4 for Cryptghast. It's a 2/2 with Extort. Whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add an additional black. So next turn, these will all be worth 2 mana each. And Extort means that I can pay a black or a white whenever I cast that spell to make each opponent lose 1 life and I gain a life, but I don't have the open mana. And while even though if it wasn't a full art, it would show a hybrid black-white symbol, it doesn't count as its color identity, because it's a reminder text, not part of the rules of the card, so it can be played in a mono black deck, so we're good there. That's all I can do, however. I mean, I could attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in my hand. Shieldred can attack. I don't know that we really need to speed the game up that fast, because I drew a really good card that can KO 1 person whenever I need to speed things up. Actually, I have 2 really good cards in my hand. This is very much leaning towards a Shieldred play, especially with Ensnaring Bridge out, which is a new addition to the deck. Pass turn. A very good new addition to the deck, apparently. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw for turn, take 2 damage. Oh, well, that's true. Alright, I'm going to tap 4 blue, green, and 3 red, 2 red floating to play Animar, Soul of Elements. A 1/1 with protection from white and from black. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Animar, and creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each +1/+1 on Animar. Very fun synergistic aspect. So I have 2 red floating, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 mana, and that is enough. I will use that and tap all of these to play Carnage Tyrant. It can't be countered, and it has hexproof and trample. It's 7/6. I put a counter on Animar, so now my creatures cost 1 less mana to cast. However, because of Ensnaring Bridge, Carnage Tyrant can't actually attack next turn, even if, I wanted to, which I would. So we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, lose 2 life, draw a card. Well, draw a card, then lose 2 life. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play Navigation Orb. Yes. Then I'm going to tap 2, sacrifice Navigation Orb to activate its ability to go get 2 basic land cards or gate cards, reveal them, put 1 into my hand, 1 in the battlefield tap. So we'll put Gruul Guildgate on the battlefield tapped, but it untaps because of Gond Gate. Then I haven't played a land for turn, so I'll play Golgari Guildgate, comes in tapped, untaps because of Gond Gate. Well, technically it just says, Gond Gate says gates you control enter the battlefield untapped, so it doesn't even tap and untap, it just enters untapped. And the fun part is I now have 3 untapped mana. I will tap that 3 mana, tapping Maze's End, bouncing it to my hand to activate that ability to get a gate card, put it on the battlefield, and then check the condition. It's not kicking in just yet, but let's see what happens. So, the way Maze's End reads is it's pay 3 and tap it, return Maze's End to its owner's hand, search your library for a gate card, put on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. If you control 10 or more gates with different names, you win the game. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just need 2 more gates and to trigger Maze's End, and I win the game. Now, everyone else is, of course, asking, how many gates do you have? Blah, 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 blah. So they all are aware of that. And I don't like what's going to happen, because I might have to do something as Shieldred because of that. I'm tempted to wait, because I have to... Maze's End will not come into the battlefield untapped, because it doesn't count as a gate card. So that buys... So I can play that, or I can play a land. Now I have some cards in my hand, a card that would get me an additional land onto the battlefield. So I could play Maze's End, play the other card, which would get me the 9th gate, and then on my 2 turns from now, I could crack Maze's End, bounce it to my hand, win the game. I'm not entirely sure, but of course no one else knows that. So Shieldred might have to do the thing on their turn, and it's just such a bummer because I love gates, but hey, I like Shieldred, love Shieldred too. So pass turn, and over here we're going to untap, upkeep, draw, take 2 damage. After my draw step, this moves to the second thing where I create a token copy of target non-saga token I control. So I'm going to make a copy of a treasure. I'm then going to tap Command Tower, 2 forests, and unfortunately I'm going to have to use a treasure for blue to play Mechanized Production. This is hilarious. All these decks are like, well, these 3 are going off on all of their like major win cons right off the bat. So I'm going to enchant the treasure, a treasure. At the beginning of my upkeep, so I will put a reminder on my deck, at the beginning of my upkeep, I create a token copy that's a copy of enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more of those artifacts with the same name as one another, you win the game. So on my upkeep, I'll make a treasure, and then at my draw step, I'll make a treasure. I should mark this off because it's currently at phase 2 out of 6. Wow. So I get to make a bunch more treasures, but that's all on turns, so it will take some time. I have 2 mana. Yeah, there's nothing in my hand. I can make more tokens, but I can't make more treasures, so that's not ideal. I did not play a land. I didn't have one. So we're going to go ahead and pass turn. That's pretty good for Third Doctor. Like, we could actually ramp him up pretty good, but again, he can't attack. So we're going to untap, upkeep, draw over here. We're going to gain 2 life. Unfortunately, I can't use that because, like I said, I have such great cards in my hand. Oh, I don't even have enough. Oh, shoot. I don't have enough mana to do these really great cards in my hand. Holy crap. I totally forgot about that. That is not good. I'm not drawing any cards, like any additional cards. Then I guess I kind of have to do this. We're going to tap 3 and play... Oh, wait. What am I thinking? Hang on, sorry. Each, thanks to Cryptcast, they're all tapping for extra. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to play Bolas's Citadel. There's a big banger. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play the top card of your library. If you cast a spell that way, you may pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than paying its actual mana. Sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. So I'm going to look. Unfortunately, it is not... I don't know that would really hurt anything, especially since we're not really attacking right now. And no one's attacking. And unfortunately, I can't move it to the bottom. It's just, I just get to look at it. However, if I play it, then that does kind of speed things up. So I can play it. I can tap this for 2 mana to play from my top of my library. Actually, what am I saying? I can use life to do it. So I will lose 2 life to play Sheoldred's Edict. Choosing 1, I will choose each opponent sacrifices a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature, because you can do that, or a token creature, or a planeswalker. So everyone has to sacrifice a non-token creature. They only have 1. They're obviously going to get rid of that, and I guess they're going to get rid of that since it can't even attack. Now I can still look at the top card. That's not bad. So why don't we go ahead and take 2 more life and play Burglar Rat. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. Look at Sheoldred go. Why can't it play this well against my friends? We'll get rid of that. Okay, everybody discarded a card. What's hilarious is I'm trying to get to land, so I guess we'll do this. We're going to lose 4 life. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to play Ambition's Cost. Draw 3 cards, lose 3 life. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3. When I draw a card, I gain 2 life. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then I'm going to lose 3, 1, 2, 3. Back to starting life total. How hilarious is that? Finally, I have a land for turn, so I will play said land. And one of the nice things is it does say, like, you may, if you cast a spell this way, oh no, you have to pay life to do that. Okay. I was going to say, hey, I can pay land, and if I wanted to, I could use land, but if I want to play from the top of my library, I have to use life. Okay, that's a land. I've already played a land, so I've stopped. I cannot do any further. But I will tap 1, 2 to play Azumi Informant. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. Wah, wah. You son of a bitch. Stop it. No, that's my job. So as you may have started to notice, that I made my Sheoldred a little bit different than most people in that I put a ton of discard in there, because the problem with Sheoldred, while it's a really powerful deck and everyone's scared of it and they immediately attack you and start to play it, it just helps them. If I do play cards that say you draw, target player, or everybody draws cards, I'm helping you get to your win con, or I'm helping you get to cards to destroy Sheoldred. So it doesn't make any sense I don't like helping my opponents beat me. So I decided to make a big push of discard. So it's like, yeah, I might make you draw some cards, but I'm trying to immediately make you discard them so you don't have ammunition against me. Or you have to get rid of something good to keep the destruction spell to get rid of Sheoldred or whatever. I discarded over there. I didn't discard. Let me get rid of Mazes In. No, just kidding. I guess we'll get rid of Propaganda because no one's attacking anyway. I guess Rishkar's Expertise since we don't have any big numbers anymore. Okay, why not? We're going to tap our last 2 mana to play Grave Consequences. Each player may remove any number of cards in his or her graveyard from the game. Then each player loses 1 life for each card in their graveyard, and I draw a card. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all of them. I don't care. No one's going to want to take damage, so I think everyone will get rid of their graveyards. And then I draw a card, and I gain 2 life. I can look at the top card again. Oh, it's another land, but that's fine. Now we could attack, I suppose. But no, it doesn't stop anyone from blocking. It just says you can't attack with things more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now anything 7 or higher can't attack. Those 2 can actually attack, but we're going to pass turn. Now, depending on what happens, we could have just given the game to Yates. We're not sure. Untap, upkeep, draw, lose 2 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3 green, 4, 5, 6, 7 to play Nyxbloom Ancient. This is going to get a counter. Actually, sorry, this is one less. And then I draw a card because of Guardian Project. But now it's a 5/5, so we could attack with Trample. If you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times that much mana. So that means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to play Living Hive. I draw a card. No, darn it. I mean, I do draw a card, but I keep doing the math wrong. Because cards cost 2 less to cast. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to play Living Hive, which makes this go up, and then I draw a card, but I almost forgot, so I draw a card just now, take 2 life, but I also drew a card off of Nyxbloom Ancient, so I lose 2 life. Almost missed it, almost missed it. When Living Hive deals combat damage to a player, put that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens into play. It's a 6/6 with Trample, that's awesome. I now have Rogue's Passage up, so it can get me 3 colorless mana, but that's not enough to do anything. Actually, I did not play a land for turn, so I can play this forest that I just drew. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could actually do that. We will do that. We're going to tap that for 6 mana. One of it's floating. It's not a creature. We're going to play Soul's Majesty. Draw cards equal to the power of... Oh, wait a second. I'm going to be drawing cards. I would then draw 6 cards, which means I would take 12 damage. And theoretically, these two can attack right now, but if he plays some spells and that hand goes down, they won't be able to attack. So that is not a good idea. If that stupid thing wasn't on the field, it would be great to just try and get big stompers in. But alright, so we're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw, take 2 damage. 2 damage, there we go. Right, so I have to play Maze's End, which comes in tap. I'm going to tap for 1, 2, 3 to play Ghostly Prison. Creatures can't attack me unless their controller pays 2 mana for each creature they control that's attacking. It's not really an issue in this game, but it's a good card for this deck. Then I will go ahead and tap 4 to play Tempt with Discovery. Search your library for a land card, put it in the battlefield. Each opponent may search their library for a land card and put it in the battlefield. For each opponent that does, I get to search for another. People in Commander hate this card because it just helps the person who's playing it, obviously, if you utilize it. I'm going to go get gate number 9. Obviously, it's going to be Rakdos Guildgate, but the thing is, it doesn't matter because no one else is going to do it. It won't help anybody, and it'll just help me. And actually, it doesn't matter because on my next turn, I'm going to win no matter what with Maze's End, but I'm not because I don't realize what Shieldred has. With Nyxbloom Ancient out, they don't need more lands, they don't care. The Cryptghast, Shieldred doesn't care about extra lands. The only reason that Third Doctor might care was the Tireless Tracker that could have got him an extra clue to beef up the Doctor, but that's gone, so he doesn't care. So there we go. We've got 3 untapped lands. Nothing we can do with it. We're going to pass. Oh, Gates was so close to doing so well. I mean, it did do really well. It's so close to winning, but it's not going to. Spoiler alert. We're going to untap. Upkeep trigger, we're going to make another treasure. We're going to draw a card, lose 2 life. Then this is going to go to stage 3, which we're going to make another treasure. We're going to play, hey, it's a land. Waterlogged Grove, but I have to pay life to activate it. I will tap 2 and play Welcome to Sweet Tooth, making a 1/1 soldier token, which is on stage 1. Stage 2, I get to make a food token, which is the main reason why it's in there. I will then tap 3 to play Cultivate, search for 2 basic lands, 1 in my hand, 1 on the battlefield tapped. So I got a island onto the battlefield, a forest into my hand. It's the only card in my hand right now. Now the cool thing is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Third Doctor is an 8/8 commander with Trample. That's pretty awesome. However, as we can see, we're only going to make 2 more treasures on the next turn. But it's 6. So 2 more turns and mechanized production will win the game. So it's very interesting. We've got 2 more turns for this to win the game. 1 more turn for that to win the game. This isn't going to necessarily win the game on any soon turns, but it is going to KO somebody on the next turn. So we're going to pass. It's going to come over here. Untap, upkeep, draw a card. We're going to gain 2 life. We're going to play a land for a turn. We're going to check this first. I like that, but we're going to hold off. All right, I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4 with 1 floating to play Loyal Subordinate. It's a 3/1 with Menace and Lieutenant at the beginning of combat on my turn. If I control my commander, each opponent loses 3 life, which is huge. I still have 1 floating, so then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 1 floating to play Peer into the Abyss. Sorcery. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life, rounded up each time. Hey, mister, we're going to win on your next turn. You just lost. Because I'm going to say Peer into the Abyss on Gates. They're going to draw half their deck. As they do so, they're going to take 2 damage. And then if they even survive, then they're going to lose half their life. But they're not, because they're definitely going to have more than 33 cards in their deck. they have 23 cards in play. And battlefield and graveyard, exile, whatever. It's 23. So 23 minus 99 minus 23 is 76. Half of 76 is basically 35, 36, 37. So around 37 cards. They're going to draw 37 cards, losing double that, losing like 74 life. They're done. Half the deck, roughly. And down, 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 down. They go. Yeah, so negative kabosh. They are the unalive. That would have been cool if you just, got to see Gates win first time out. But again, like I said, that's a little unlikely. I don't know what turn it is. It's not too far along, actually. Did anybody miss? They ramped a little bit, so it's actually they did too. Yeah, I think we're basically on turn 7, turn 8. So there you go. That's the fastest Gates can go. It did pretty well. Would have gotten there, probably won the game on turn 8, possibly turn 9. I'm guessing, because I think Shieldred's the only one that didn't ramp, and I think it missed a land drop for a turn. And I did play off the top of the library, so that caught up. So maybe, yeah, it should be about turn 7, turn 8. So that's pretty awesome. I'm glad you got to see it go fast, at least. It didn't win, but only because I had Peer into the Abyss in the hand for the last 3 turns. And they're oh shoot, that's gonna and then Cryptcast is the only reason I was able to play it. That's a very fluky kind of crackback type thing. Well, crap. But there you go. We're still on Shieldred's turn. So everyone else is like, whoa, what the heck just happened? Still have 2 mana, not enough to play anything from my hand, but I can play things from the top of my library. So I'm going to take, I don't know if did I gain 2 life off of drawing? I don't know that I did. I don't think I did, but we're just going to leave it. So I'm going to take 3, 1, 2, 3, to play Arterial Flow. Each opponent discards 2 cards if I control a vampire, which I don't. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think there's any vampires in the deck. So there you go. He's going to discard his 1. Actually, it's funny because both characters only had 1 card in their hand. The Doctor discarded a land. They're going to discard the Soul's Majesty draw spell. Shieldred kicking the ass. What's up? Okay, it's a land, so that's not going to... We already played a land for turn. No one's low enough for Bolas' Citadel to matter just yet. Then I will move to the beginning of combat, however, and each opponent loses 3 life. That's pretty awesome, and then we will pass turn. I have to admit, this would be a very different game if that Ensnaring Bridge wasn't on the battlefield, because creatures would be swinging by now, and it would be... Shieldred would definitely be taking a hit. So we're going to tap 1 for a Soul Ring, unfortunately. That's not going to help anything. They only have 4 cards in hand. Nothing with power 4 or greater than 4 can attack. Animar can attack, but it's not going to get through all of that and survive. And we still have to worry about mechanized production, because Shieldred might still lose because of mechanized production, unless they can do something about that. We're going to pass turn. It's interesting. I mean, Animar's not doing bad. I just had to get rid of a creature and stuff, but even so, I mean, a 5/5 and a 6/6 with Trample, and all I got to do is swing that 6/6 somewhere where it gets in, and I make 1 or 2 little guys and start... I don't have anything to buff those little 1/1s, but just things to overrun the board state would be helpful. All right, so we're going to untap, upkeep trigger, we make a treasure, and then we draw a card, lose 2 life. That's not promising. This goes up, we make another treasure. This goes up, and then we make a food. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's an 11/11 trampoline commander. That's something to be feared. However, since he can't attack, it doesn't matter. I drew a land, will play a land. I have nothing in my hand, nothing that I can sacrifice to draw more cards. Oh, I can actually. Sweet. I will tap 1, sacrifice Waterlogged Grove to draw a card, although I will take 2 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 of it being blue, for Reconnaissance Mission. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Card draw is extremely important in decks, mainly Commander, but I think just pretty much any format. I know the 60-card formats are different, so you don't want to waste slots on just card draws, but at the same time, you want to always have more options in hand. I'm slowly going through my decks this year and increasing the card draw in all of them, and I think it's helping quite a bit. Obviously, card draw against Shieldred isn't great, and to that end, I bet if I swung my little 1/1, Shieldred would probably take it just so that I'd draw a card and take 2 damage, which is amusing. But I don't think he would want to. At the same time, I wouldn't want to give you the option of drawing something good when clearly I know you're coming at me. And we don't want you, although it doesn't matter, I guess. Let's say at the beginning of your upkeep. Okay, so he can't win on his next turn. It still has to be 2 more turns because because he's going to check when at the upkeep. This doesn't make the final treasure until draw step. after draw step. So it's going to be make a treasure at my upkeep, 7 treasures, it fails, goes to draw step, makes the 8th one, and then it has to wait until next turn. So Shoulder definitely doesn't want to give me the option of drawing any more cards to draw something that would make more treasures. They can't do anything, they pass. Untap over here, upkeep, draw, play a swamp for turn. Let's see what's on top of my library. It's not bad. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Dogged Pursuit. At the beginning of my end step, each opponent loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. So now, thanks to Subordinate and that, they're losing 4 life on my turn no matter what. 1, 2, 3, 4 to play the creature Mage Hunter. Whenever an opponent casts or copies an instant or sorcery spell, they lose 1 life. Oh, shoot, that doesn't help. So I've got a good draw spell, but it doesn't help because everybody is hellbent. Nobody has any cards in their hand except for me, and I only have 2. It's Dark Deal. Each player discards all the cards in their hand, then draws that many cards -1. So that's really cool that I can make everyone draw, but draw less than they had, so they don't get a ton of options. But if they're not drawing, I mean, it would be a waste. I would be the only one that it would affect, and it would just make me get rid of my Evolving Wilds, so that doesn't help. So we are going to move to our combat step. Each opponent is going to lose 3 life. Now, what do we have combat-wise? See, we only have... Well, this can't attack, of course. It's 3/4. We got a 3/1, a 1/1, a 2/2, a 1/1. Shoulder is the only important one with a 4/5 and Death Touch, but everyone would absolutely try and stack block the best they can. Well, they don't have to stack block. They could absolutely kill. So then we move to our end step. Each opponent loses 1 life, and I gain 1 life. Oh, I guess I should have played that, but it's fine. It's not a super important... Well, it could be, I suppose, but we're going to pass. I didn't play it. Off the top of the library. Untap, upkeep, draw, lose 2 life. It's a Reliquary Tower. Not good. Nothing over here that can allow me to draw, so we're kind of screwed. We're going to pass. And see, now here's what I'm saying. We're going to go to upkeep, make a treasure, but it's only 7, not 8. So then we go to our draw step, take 2 damage, move to stage 5, which makes another treasure. So now we're ready. We're going to tap 1 for the creature's Spyglass Siren. When it enters the battlefield, create a map token. Ooh, I have a really cool map token that I got from a friend online. Bus schedule or subway or something from Chicago, I believe, is what it's supposed to be. So this map token was made by Turn 1 Proxy on Twitter. Go check them out. They make a lot of fun proxies for Magic. I'll try to remember to, since I'm saying it, I should remember to put their handle up on screen real quick. I think it's just turn the number 1 and then proxy. So that is when Reconnaissance Mission, or no, that's when Spyglass Siren enters the battlefield. And you can pay 1, tap and sacrifice it to explore, for a target creature to explore. Now that can be sometimes helpful because explore means that you pick a creature, like I would pick the 3rd Doctor, and they would explore. And so I would look at the top card of my library. If it's a land, it goes in the battlefield. If it's a non-land, the Doctor would get a +1/+1 counter, and it would stay on the top of my library. At this point, however, the map token is giving him the buff enough that we don't want to really risk it. Again, though, doesn't matter. He's either going to win off of mechanized production, or Shoulder's going to do something crazy and win. I can't really attack. There's no point. We're going to go ahead and pass. Now, what can they do? Unfortunately, I don't have any draw spells. That's the problem. So we're going to move to our upkeep, untap, upkeep, draw. Oh, we knew what that was. How stupid. I gained 2 life. Then what's on the top now? All right, that's better. So I'm going to pay 5 life and play Painful Quandary. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player loses 5 life unless they discard a card. What's on top now? I got Deadly Tempest. Destroy all creatures, which would be nice. Actually, that wouldn't stop mechanized production anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So it doesn't help. And it would destroy my own creatures, so that really wouldn't help. So I'm just going to play Evolving Wilds, crack Sacket, which is good because now I get to shuffle. So that's actually really good. That might be the key. Thankfully, I had that on the battlefield. All right, what's on top now? That's not going to help. Dang it. It's a discard spell. Nobody's got any hands. I will pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 floating to play Rug of Smothering. Never got to play this yet. It's a flying 1/3, so it's actually a creature. Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 1 life for each spell they've cast this turn. So it's Storm blasting you in the face, and that's every player. That includes myself. So if I were to play another spell now, I would take a damage. Actually, I would take, I would actually take 3 damage. So we're going to move to our combat step. Each opponent is going to lose 3 life. Then I'm going to move to my end step. They're each going to lose 1 life, and I'm going to gain 1 life, and it doesn't matter because mechanized production is going to win. I could swing in, I guess, because he's only got 3 blockers. One of them, however, is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's like a 14/14 with trample. A total of 5 damage would get through if I did that. It's not going to matter. There's no reason to do so. Oh man, like I could swing in, hit for 5 damage, and then I could theoretically sacrifice a bunch of permanents and tap Bolas' Citadel, do another 10. He's got 16. It wouldn't matter. And if Shouldridge wasn't on the field, he wouldn't take damage when he draws. And it doesn't matter because it's mechanized production is upkeep. So I think that's it. We're done. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. It's a land. We'll play it. We'd lose 2 life. We can't swing. Well, no, yeah, anything. Now nothing can swing because they only have 1 card in their hand and it has to be above that or whatever. So pass turn. And actually, to that end, my guys couldn't have attacked either because I only have 1 card in hand. So literally power. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. 3 cards on my side could have attacked. So it wouldn't. But yeah, we go to untap, upkeep, and make a copy. Bing, 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 bing. Mechanized production kicks in. We win the game. That's cool because, well, again, this isn't a real game necessarily. It's a real game, but it's not against other people. So mechanized production's never won against real people, but that's cool that you get to see it go off. And yeah, everybody, unfortunately, Shieldred had an amazing showing. Just couldn't get any other. There's a bunch of other cards in here that also ping when people draw, so then it's like you're taking 3, 4, 5 damage every time you draw a card, and that's when you can really get rolling. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. I mean, you saw up here the Abyss smash down someone that was going to win, then this one went off. So cool. That was actually kind of fun. I mean, I liked it. It was a good scene. And again, Animar didn't do poorly. Towards the end there, it did, but because it was just hitting lands, and I could have drawn a bunch of cards, but I would have taken more damage. At this point, it might not have been a bad idea, because, well, what did I say? I was going to draw 6, so I would be at 2 life right now, but I might have drawn something that blows up artifacts. But there you have it. The third Doctor is your winner of match 1. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you stick around, check out more things on my channel. Please subscribe, all that nonsense, and I will see you next time.